The Fantastic Four. You start filming very soon. What do you make of the script that you've read for it?
I got the part and I read the script. I was like, that's cool as fuck. And now the more I've understood about the universe and the way it all fits together, I'm like, yeah, that's really cool as fuck.
There he is. How you doing, mate?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm all right. How was your Father's Day?
Very good. Yeah, I got taken out for lunch. It was very nice. And then got drunk and watched football, which was very nice as well.
So is the head a little bit hazy right now?
No, I'm all right right now. Maybe for the first 5 minutes when I woke up, but I'm not there. I don't suffer with hangovers.
I was worried that this shirt was going to really mess with the migraine and the headache.
No, honestly, I can cope with it.
Water off a duck's back now, isn't it, really? I watched, over the weekend, I watched The First Omen. And funnily enough, I watched it on Disney+. So I suppose, in a way, that makes you a Disney princess?
I suppose it does, yeah. I hadn't thought about it that way, but yeah, I can see that working. Yeah.
Moana, Cinderella, you. I'm a proper wuss when it comes to horror films. And obviously, you keep popping up in a lot of scary, tense horrors. You're a braver man than me, but filming The First Omen in Rome must have been a little bit scary. Like, walking around at night after filming those scenes. You can be real with me, it was a little bit scary, right?
No, it was genuinely. I mean, the city itself has got such a weird, heavy energy, and if you're kind of approaching that particular heavy religious energy with a character like that in mind and telling a story like that, yeah, it really feels. And you look up at when you walk around the kind of narrow streets at night, and they're usually at 4 stories high, and the shutters on the top 3 stories are always shut, but there's always one that isn't. And it always just kind of looks really spooky, like there's somebody just stood back from the window watching. So yeah, it was very easy to get into some kind of character for that when you're filming somewhere like Rome.
They probably saw you with the sideburns, were like, nah, I ain't messing with him either. They were probably just as afraid of you as them.
Yeah. Although I had amazing sideburns the year before, or no, actually the year after, for Nosferatu that comes out later this year. But they're my own sideys. They are like virtually to the mouth, huge, bushy, grey sideys. So they're something to behold.
You're just showing off at this point, because I've been growing this for 31 years. Look at that.
Yeah.
You play Father Brennan in this before he goes like fully crazy. This must have been one of the most daunting roles you've ever done, because not only are you adding to like a cult classic, but you're taking on a role that like Patrick got such high praise for as well.
It was specifically for that, and also it was a part that was played by Pete Postlethwaite in the remake, and he's also one of my all-time favourite actors. So yeah, to be walking in their shoes was pretty daunting, to be honest. But as you say, we took it back a few years, 6-7 years in time, and so tried to trace what 7 years of living with the fact that you haven't stopped the birth of the Antichrist, and how mad that would send you. And so to get a gauge as to where my Father Brennan was compared to Patrick Troughton's in the 1976 one, when you meet him in that. Obviously, he's much further down the hole by that point. So there's still some hope at retribution for what he's been involved with when you meet him in Rome in The First Omen. That you say has kind of fried by the time you meet him in 1976. So yeah. How
many times did you have to watch like those films beforehand to sort of get into the mindset of Father Brennan?
I mean, it had always been a favourite of mine. The First Omen, that and Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist, that kind of essential 70s horror. I'd always loved those. So I knew it very well. But I didn't want to kind of go in and go, right, I'm going to try and do an impression of Patrick Chapman in The Omen. You could take all the things you've got, all the tools you have at your disposal, and you make the character from that. Being probably about 14 inches taller than being about 40 inches taller than Patrick Chapman. It makes it hard to do an impression on any level. So I just took the basic part of Ireland and where his accent was from, and ran with what I had in the script. You know what I mean? I'm not a mimic.
There's something so beautiful about you talking about the First Omen while just stroking a cute little cat.
She's actually called Lilith, which is quite spooky as well. Yeah, so there's definitely some satanic vibes going on in our house. Her brother's called Salem.
You know what I said I'm a horror movie wuss? Should we just end this chat now before I get possessed or start levitating from the bed tonight? So obviously you're watching a lot of horror films. You're a big horror film fan. Do you just get to a point now, like, you watch a new horror film and you're just like, yeah, wicked. Someone's being possessed by the devil. Someone's head's being chopped off, whatever.
No, I don't think. I think if it's good, you never really lose the fear if the films are well made or the scripts are well written. No, I think you always get a little bit excited by it.
I recently watched The Witch. Like, what a film. I mean, again, that's high praise from me because I'll get scared at, like, Inside Out. So for me to get through The Witch is impressive. You must be Robert's good luck charm at this point.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of like his acting sergeant at arms or something like that, really. he drags me around to show the younger actors how he wants his acting done.
It would be nice when he does a film in a spa or something rather than some muddy, horrific war zone.
Yeah, knowing Rob as I do, I can't really see a rom-com in a spa or anything like that. So, it's really not his vibe. No, it's got to be dark. But yeah, I absolutely love working with him. Which was his first feature, and it was a real kind of career changer for me as well. It was the first kind of leading role in a feature film that I'd done. So after 20 years of acting in all sorts of bits and bobs and working on a kind of certain level of the cast list, since The Witch, I've been able to work with some of the best film directors in the world on some really interesting stuff. So I think Rob Eggers is great because he gave me a better second half of my career than I had first time.
Well, that's why I've just complimented him, just in case he watches this and wants to get me in a film as well. You, Anya, Willem, you keep returning to his films. What makes him such a perfect director to work with?
For me, it's just watching this intensity at work. Because he is actually quite a nice, chill, funny guy when you get to know him. But the way he is on set and the drive and the intensity and the way he shoots with Jaron Blasher, his cinematographer, there's a lot of pre-shooting rehearsal, with all the cast and with the two of them. So they're working their camera moves and their shots whilst you're rehearsing as actors in a kind of quite a theatrical way, like you would in a theatre company in a rehearsal room with the marks marked out on the floor. So you do a lot of rehearsal and preparation before you actually get to set or get into principal photography, because every scene is one, maybe two shots for the whole thing. So the camera's moving all the time. It's picking up everybody's line, everybody's reaction, all the the action of the supporting artists, all the props, the animals, everything. It all has to work in this fantastic kind of ballet, this kind of moving thing with lots of moving parts to get the shot. And it's a really demanding way of working. It's not usually, it's like, yeah, okay, so we've got the scene, we've got we've got your close-ups, so we've got those lines we need from that, okay, and so like, oh yeah, we're going to show the wide shot at the beginning of the scene, so that looks good, yeah, we've got that. With the way Rob and Jaron work, say everything has got to work in these singular long shots with the camera moving. which I find exhilarating, because the set is absolutely buzzing, because everybody's got to be on the ball all the time. And I find that really exciting. But it can also be quite daunting, because you don't want to be the one who drops the ball. You know, when there's 70 people are involved in the shot going right, you don't want to be the one who trips over your lines. You know? So it can be quite a daunting way to work, but I love it. I think it's great.
I also read that you were a sort of a big part of the casting process on The Witch.
Well, I was cast first as the cast and got to know Robert, and then so when he came over to cast the other parts, I sat in and read with the kids and with the actresses reading for Kate. So yeah, I got to read in, but you know, it certainly wasn't my choice. You know, Rob's like I say, he knows his own mind very much on every single detail. So I was essentially there just to make the auditions better by having the real person reading with things. And it also gives you that chance of testing out the chemistry a bit, because I mean, both the actors who read for Kate, my wife, in it, were both amazing. And one was an Irish actress, and the other one was Kate Dickie, the Scottish actress who played it in the end. And yeah, we got to improvise whilst we were in the room in her audition. And we had to improvise the kind of moment that we find the land and clasp hands and pray. That's right at the start of the movie. And yeah, I just remember me and Kate holding hands, improvising that thing, and there was a genuine electricity, you know, kind of going through the hands. It was just like, oh my God, I really want to work with this person. We just immediately had that really intense connection. And so it was nice to be able to find that out. So at the end of the thing, I was going, please, Rob, please, can we have Kate? Because he agreed on that.
At this point, you must be a bit bored of Kate Dickie, though. Just like, oh, not another project with you, bloody hell.
You can never get bored of Kate. She's fantastic.
Do you remember what it was like the first time seeing Anya Taylor-Joy audition?
Yeah, I remember it very clearly. Because she was 17 at the time. I think she turned 18 the day that was the first day of shooting on the film in Canada. So just 10 years ago, she's very different to the woman I know now, but she was immediately just stunning for a start when she was in, but she just carries this presence with her. Even say when she was 17, you just had it where you were kind of fascinated by her, but slightly scared by her. You know, she kind of Rosa, she inhabits these kind of spaces in between things. You know, when you're never quite sure what and who she is. I think that's what's so fascinating about her as an actress. And she's also, it's also incredibly natural and instinctive to her. She doesn't have to work. She just thinks and it happens. You know, and you can blush on command. Things like that. You know, you can see the emotion travel across her face through her skin. And she hasn't spent hours getting into character to do this. She's just so natural. So I was driving her back from set one time when we were doing The Witch. And she went, Ralph, you know when you and Kate say you're going to go to do a bit of work before bed? And I went, yeah. She went, what do you mean? And I went, I just look at the scene and, I imagine have I covered every possible way of playing the scene in my head, all the different, ways each line can be said, the energy that you can bring to it, how you or Kate are likely to play it, and all this kind of stuff. She was like, oh, right. I said, do you not do that? She goes, no. She just reads it, remembers it, and the honesty and the truth of the performance just comes incredibly natural.
You know what? I look at her and I'm like, you might be one of the best humans on the planet. Now I kind of hate her because I'm like, oh, we get it. You're talented. Move on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she does make it all incredibly easy. She's a lovely, lovely young woman. Really.
Speaking of Anya, I actually saw on Twitter a video of you as Princess Peach.
Mario, it's me, Princess Peach. Save me, please.
Do you think she's a bit nervous that you could be coming for her role?
Well, you know, she should be, but you know, yeah, no, that might be. I think it's more in the Bowser range. I think it was a bit ambitious going for Peach.
There's only so many times I can refer to you as a princess today, isn't there? Maybe we sort of cap it at 2.
Well, I don't know. Is there a limit? Is there a limit? I mean, I like to push casting boundaries, and yeah, I've never been cast as a princess, so twice in one interview.
If I ever make a film, you're my first call for princess, okay?
Excellent.
I spoke to Anya a while ago for The Northman, and again, I think that was one of the best films of the year. It must have been wild for you to have seen that film. Like, it's Robert's like first big film. You're in it, but your daughter's in it. Do you remember like being in the cinema watching that for the very first time?
Yeah, no, it's seeing the scale of it, because like you say, I wasn't as involved in it as I was in The Witch, but I did go over to chaperone my daughter, who was only 15 at the time, I think. So yeah, got walking onto set. And the last time I'd worked with Rob and Darren and Craig, the designer, and Linda, the costume, was on The Witch, which is a $4 million Canadian dollar independent movie. It's tiny budget. And I'm walking into this set in the studios just outside Belfast. These enormous stages, absolutely full of the biggest, most beautiful Viking sets. And Darren's there with these huge super cranes that, you know, even before they extend, but when a crane that can extend like 140 foot and stuff like this. You know, such bigger toys than they'd all been playing with last time we worked together. But it was really nice because just in another film with the whole same group of people, and the method is kind of almost the same as it was from The Witch. It doesn't matter how big the budget is or whatever. The intense care for the work and detail and all of that is just the same. So yeah, it's nice.
Don't be expecting any of these big budget cranes on my princess film, by the way. You're getting an Argos dress, that's it.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. I'm not Bertie Big Bollocks completely yet, you know.
Give it time. After my film, when we get you that Oscar for playing the princess, then you can be.
Yeah.
You mentioned Nosferatu there. Robert, I read that he said that your character is the Dr. Watson to Willem Dafoe's Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. What
is it like working with Willem Dafoe? How surreal is that experience?
It really was for me because long before I was an actor, or I'd even thought about it as a job, you know, his performances in Platoon and especially Wild at Heart were like just two of my favourite performances, completely different characters, and I just always thought he was like just one of the best ever. So as soon as Robert cast him in The Lighthouse, I was like, come on, I might get a chance to work with him. And so I met him on the Northman and around the premieres and stuff. And then Rob got us in on Nosferatu, and just to work with someone like him every day and watch how he goes about his work. Yeah, it's such a privilege.
Can you now just, at any whim, just like drop Willem Dafoe a text and be like, oh, I found this GIF and thought of you?
I actually can, yeah.
Oh, what?
Straight up. I don't have a lot of celeb numbers in my phone, but no, I'd say me and William are mates, and you know, we've gone out for a drink when he's been over in London and promoting other stuff and things. Yeah.
What the hell do you talk to Willem Dafoe about?
Well, if you think of all all the films he's done since I've worked with him, and the stuff that's coming out and all he's doing. So yeah, there's never anything. You never run out of things to talk about with someone like Willem. He also lives in Italy on a farm, and loves to talk about that. And I love talking about animals and farming. So yeah, animals, farming, and films. That's what me and Willem talk about.
You know what? If you two are like in London, why don't us three go out? I'll let you two do the animal farming stuff first, and then I'll come in for the latter bit about films, if that's all right.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, the cast for Nosferatu is wild. I mean, Bill Skarsgård, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Emma Corrin, they're in it. But originally, Harry Styles was set to play Thomas Hutter in it. Did you get to like do any sort of reads with him beforehand, or get to see any of his acting?
No, I didn't. Well, Rob rang me. I was filming in Wales. He rang me with a new draft of the Nosferatu scripts. So to say, I'd kind of been involved forever, as it were. He's wanted to make Nosferatu for long before he made The Witch, and so I knew about his desire to make it, and that he would want me to play the Doctor Sivers. And yeah, he told me it, and he said Harry Styles is going to be playing that, and I was just like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd say I'd never seen him act before, but I know what a good director Rob is, and he's, as he said himself, he's not cast anybody bad yet. He's not had a bad performance. So yeah, I was all up for it. But then schedules and things changed, and he couldn't do it, and Annie then couldn't do it. So these things change all the time.
I'd like to think somewhere Robert is just listening to the best of One Direction, like he's just a massive fan. Yeah. Seeing him humming to What Makes You Beautiful, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
Is it true that he is also a big fan of The Office?
A big fan. But I think, yeah, him and his brother, had watched it years ago when it came out. I think the link is that he liked my voice, and so he remembered my voice, I think, from that, and then he'd seen me in other stuff. And so when he was writing that character, William, in The Witch, apparently he says he had my cadence and my voice in his head. Thankfully, he managed to persuade his independent producers to cast me as the lead. I think they were like, okay, great script, let's make the movie. And then he went, yeah, I want this guy to play it. And they went, who? Sorry. But thankfully, he managed to persuade him. Yeah. And the rest is it.
After The Office, it was either going to be you or Stephen Merchant, and I just don't think he could do a William. Although I would watch that. I would watch that version.
I would watch the fuck out of that. Yeah. Yeah, Stephen Merchant and Kate. Yeah, that would be great.
On the note of The Office, I mean, it must be like hard for you every time you go down to a Spoons or something. Do people come up and ask you to throw their shoe over a pub?
It's strange because it's been 22 years, and so there was a period when yes, absolutely, people would do that constantly. And yeah, I've never been told to fuck off, or why don't you just fuck off? As many times in my life.
And you're going, please be a fan of The Office and not just an arsehole, please.
Yeah, exactly. And also just kind of wandering around with, half the population thinking that you are actually that person, to a lesser or greater extent, which is part of the thing of being an actor. If you do it right, people actually do think you are a bit like that. And obviously, if you play a character like I played in The Office, that's a pretty horrible thing to carry around. So yeah, but it just changes over the years. There's a whole generation of people who've got no idea what The Office is now, and they know me from films I've done over the last few years. Thankfully, don't know who Chris Finch is. Yeah. And we love that generation. And also, thankfully, in America, where some people obviously know the UK office over there, but not many over there. Thankfully, much better known for for my serious dramatic film work than playing the paper merchant from Slough.
Where in the world do you think Finchy is now? Because my money's on behind bars.
I think he's drag artist. Yeah, he comes out and he's a drag artist.
Is he successful?
I think so. I think once you unleash that intense femininity that was like bubbling under him all the time, that was what it was driving. I think once it's gone, it'll be like a river, an unstoppable tsunami of feminine power. And yeah, I think he'll take the world by storm.
I will put all of my wedding savings into making this film happen now. In a similar light, I mean, obviously we get a Gavin and Stacey Christmas reunion like every year now. Have you spoken about a reunion?
Not that I've heard of, no. I mean, he made the film, didn't he? Right, David Brent on the road. But no, I've never been asked to do it again. And I don't know whether there've been any plans to get anything like that, but not that I've heard.
Would you, if there was?
If everybody was to go back, you know, to get the whole cast and, you know, Martin and Mackenzie and everybody, then yeah, absolutely I'd do it. But yeah, I'm not itching to play Finchy again. That's everybody else, isn't it?
I don't blame you.
No, I don't want to do a spin-off or anything like that.
And yeah, I suppose after The Office, that's sort of your big project. I mean, you've not got any big projects coming up at all. Nothing announced recently. Nothing big major, really. So
no, it's all a bit quiet. Yeah.
The Fantastic Four. I mean, obviously you've known about playing Galactus for a while. How the hell do you keep this as a secret from your friends and family?
You tell a couple who you trust very well, just so you get it off your chest. I think you would have to it explode, man. If I didn't tell my wife, she'd just be like, "What on earth is wrong with you?" You know, something like that happens to you. You can't realistically keep it fully secret. But no, I managed to, and yeah, really excited to get started on it. But obviously, I can't really tell you anything about it because I'd have to kill you.
But I'm kind of willing for that to happen because I want to know. So
right, well, you know, swings and roundabouts.
Kind of a risk I'm willing to take. But I mean, you even confirmed it like a goddamn legend. I mean, what is it? You said world-devouring cosmic villain, is it? I'll see what I can do.
There's not many people picked up that was a Jarvis Cocker line. It's like the line from Common People.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a big Jarvis Cocker Marvel crossover.
There probably isn't, is there? No. I don't think these things through, really.
But you know, the fans are now going to be spiraling, going to be like, "Oh my god, is Jarvis Cocker now playing, Mr. Fantastic? What's happening?"
Yeah, the Silver Surfer is Jarvis Cocker. Yeah, no, I shouldn't even joke about these things. I will get shot.
Kevin Feige's outside your door now with a sniper. Without giving too much away, what is it about the role of Galactus that you're most excited to do?
I think I'm just excited to be part of this absolutely insane, huge world, and yeah, I'm just it's Galactus, man. I can't say much, but it's Galactus, man. Fucking hell, yeah. There's a lot to be excited about.
Every tweet I've seen about your casting has been perfect man, perfect voice, perfect man, perfect voice for it. Like, I'm fully ready for Galactus to have a nice thick Yorkshire accent, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that might be a stretch.
You start filming very soon, and again, you don't have to tell me the ins and outs. You can if you want, I won't mind. But what do you make of the script that you've read for it?
It's great, and I'm not someone who knows the whole lore of Marvel. As in, my son is an expert. He's 25, so he's been schooling me for the last couple of months. You know, all these things to read, must read this, must read this. No, that person's not connected to that there from there, you fool. So he's been teaching me all that. And yeah, I mean, I loved it when I got the part and I read the script. I was like, that's cool as fuck. And now the more I've understood about the universe and the way it all fits together, I'm like, yeah, that's really cool as fuck.
I mean, this must be a dream role for you. Are you hoping that there's just years and years of time for you to play Galactus?
So yeah, because that would mean that the films are successful, and that's kind of what we're in here for, you know. So yeah, that would be an ideal outcome for everybody involved, but obviously especially for me.
Most importantly, have you made space next to your Green Knight helmet for Galactus's helmet?
I haven't yet, but it's something I'll have to think about. I have to be mounted. I can't kind of mount it like a deer's head, like I did the Green Knight head. I have to give some fancy box for that, but I'm sure you're not allowed to take props away from set on these things. You know, I'm just taking my hat home. Yeah,
I've got the very first confession here. I can sell it to Feige for millions now.
The security on these jobs is absolutely incredible. Compared to, say, when I did the first Harry Potters that I did years and years ago. Right towards the end, they were starting to get very secure about scripts and all this. But yeah, nowadays it's fantastically secure. So I certainly wouldn't be able to walk out with any props. No.
I suppose it's also several 100,000 feet tall as well. It's got to be a huge helmet, so that's difficult to smuggle under your shirt.
It is hard to smuggle my huge helmet under my shirt.
And that's it. That's all I needed for that line in itself. Well, you mentioned you've been in Harry Potter, you're now in Marvel, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Final Fantasy. Like, you've done some of the biggest franchises in entertainment. What's next on your hit list? What would be the absolute dream for you to do?
I suppose if you're going logically on, because it makes me sound like some kind of really weird collector. I've got into acting to collect these things. The kind of one I haven't done is I haven't done a Bond film. So I think I'd like to be a Bond villain. I think that's the obvious next one, I think.
I mean, most people, if they said I want to be a Bond villain, I'd be like, yeah, all right, good luck. But at this point, I'm like, logically, you have to be. You've done every other film that there is. You have to next.
This ominous positivity, if you just kind of think, yeah, I'll be a Bond villain. Yeah, why not?
It's a Monday. I'll fucking do it. I don't care.
Yeah, broccoli. Get broccoli on the phone.
Dude, thank you so much for chatting to me. That was really fun, mate.
Yeah, excellent.
Say hi to your cat for me, and hopefully I get to chat to you when Fantastic Four comes out.
Look forward to it.
Right, mate. Have a good one. Thank you so much, bud.
Cheers, man.